History time, it's history time, learning stories from our past, it's history time.
Hi there. Welcome to History Time. My name is James, and I work at the National Museum of American History. We have lots of things at the museum that help us learn about American history. We call those things objects. Today, I'm going to tell you a little bit about one of our objects, a picture. Now, when we are learning about a new object at the museum, it's important to use our careful looking eyes. Here is a picture. What do you see in this picture? I see a woman. I see a beautiful pearl necklace. I see that this is a black and white picture. Now that you have had a chance to look closely at this picture, what do you think you know about this object? I think that this picture might be from a long time ago. Is there anything you're wondering about this picture? I wonder who this woman is and if she was someone important. The woman in this picture is Mary McLeod Bethune. She did many things. She was a teacher, she opened a school and a hospital, she fought for equal rights, and she advised many presidents of the United States. Mary McLeod Bethune was born in South Carolina, but she also lived in Georgia, Florida, and eventually Washington, D.C. She believed in the importance of education. Do you remember the story of Minnie Jean Brown? We talked about how black students couldn't go to the same school as white students, and even though the rule was changed, Minnie Jean was treated differently. Mary McLeod Bethune was a teacher who believed all black students deserved a good education. She also believed all girls deserved a good education. She wanted to make sure girls, especially black girls, grew up believing they were smart, kind, and strong. So she opened a school specifically for black girls. She made the school bigger so that black boys could go too. Mary also opened a hospital. Another unfair rule then was that hospitals didn't treat black patients and white patients in the same place. When hospitals did treat black patients, the doctors and nurses didn't treat black patients with the same respect as they would treat white patients. So Mary opened a hospital specifically for black people who were sick and needed doctors to get better. The hospital had black doctors and nurses who would treat all patients equally with respect. Mary cared so much about fixing these unfair rules, she moved to Washington, D.C. to work with the presidents of the United States. Here is a picture of Mary in front of a house in Washington, D.C. Mary worked hard to help the black people in her community, but she wanted to help more people across the country, so she moved to Washington, D.C. She worked closely with many former presidents: President Coolidge, President Hoover, President Roosevelt, President Truman, and President Eisenhower. That's a lot of presidents! She worked closest with President Franklin D. Roosevelt and First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt when he was still the president. She gave them advice when they needed it. She kept fighting for education and equal rights between black people and white people her entire life. In 2021, she will be honored for the important work she did. A statue that looks like her will be created and placed in the United States Capitol. The United States Capitol is a building in Washington, D.C., where some people from the government work to make and change rules. People who work in the Capitol and people who visit will be able to look at Mary's statue and be reminded of the important work she did. I hope you had fun learning about Mary McLeod Bethune. We learned that Mary didn't like unfair rules that kept black people from going to the same schools and hospitals as white people. She created special schools and hospitals so that black people could have access to good education and healthcare. She also wanted to help change the unfair rules so she shared her ideas with the president and the first lady. If you could have a conversation with the president or vice president today, what would you tell them? Would you have any questions to ask them? What things are important to you that you would want them to know about? Well, thanks for joining me today. I'll see you next time on History Time.